We would knock on doors in our township to urge people to vote for good candidates. We're just interested in good government. So I got the reputation for being interested in politics. When my predecessor in the state house decided to retire due to health reasons, sort of unexpectedly, some of my friends in church said, "Joe, why don't you run for the state house?" I said, I don't know anything about politics. I'm a math and science teacher in the local high school. I don't have any money. Here I'm a young 32-year-old high school math science teacher, ex-Air Force officer, served 3 tours in Vietnam. I just told him, here's my experience. I have an idea of what I'd like to vote on and help, good government in the community. I won. After the war, my dad took us over to the Philippines, and I grew up among people in the mountains, right on the edge of the headhunter tribes. After high school, 1957, my younger sister and I came back. My parents stayed there, and then they came and we came back to Wilmore, our home. My wife and I went to Asbury College, and we both were in the same class, graduated in 1961. I had come from a very legalistic background, and I went to Asbury and met some what I considered pretty normal people, but really with a strong faith and a deep faith. The idea of being a servant, working on behalf of others was very ingrained in our education in Asbury. In Congress, you're a public servant. Your boss is the people, and you react to their needs, and you try to help people make government function for them. I had a liberal arts major, so you get a broad view of a lot of things and dealing with lots of kinds of people. You've got to like people, you've got to be able to engage with people because you're constantly meeting people, reacting, serving people, trying to help. I started 3 prayer breakfasts 43 years ago when I was first elected. That group of men is still meeting. Young men with a heart for God. That's the kind of people that we need to run for these offices in the State House. That's what young people can do. Get your heart right with God. Be a person of faith. Spend time reading the scriptures, listening as you read, listening as you pray, thinking, reflecting. Very important to ground yourself like that. Run, volunteer. Be engaged as citizens. It's our stewardship responsibility in what we call a republic, a constitutional republic. So we as salt and light need to participate. I was in a prayer breakfast off the hill. The girl serving us for breakfast said, a plane has hit one of the Twin Towers in New York City. They made the announcement, the plane in over Pennsylvania has turned and it's coming towards Washington. And so we got an order, evacuate the building. I saw them put the flag at half-mast. So I went home that weekend and I painted the flag at half-mast, call that symbol of freedom. And then the next week I painted the face of Lincoln at the memorial, sort of somber mood in the country. The next month I painted one of Churchill, One Man Against Tyrants, sort of the resolve we had. When I went home that weekend, it was sort of like we're all under attack. The American family's under attack. And in the walkways going over the 95, there were young men waving American flags. It almost made you want to cry. You have tears because this feeling of America's under attack. The cultural issues that we face have been a motivating factor for me. I had what is called a Values Action Team in the Congress, and we deal with things like life, marriage, religious freedom. You have to negotiate. It's a give and take process. You have to let everybody get some credit. You must treat people, even your adversaries and enemies, people who are trying to kill you, with dignity and respect. They're worthy. They're image bearers of the Almighty, so treat them that way. Do good to those who despitefully use you, who say bad things about you. Want their welfare for good. That's what we've got to do. This country is one of the greatest countries in the history of mankind. We have done more good around the world. Millions of Bibles, thousands of missionaries, hundreds of hospitals, poured millions of dollars. We've had hundreds of thousands of our young men and women sacrifice their lives. For what? Not for ourselves, not for what they could get out of it, because of their love of our country and freedom. This country is worth fighting for. It's worth working for. It's worth praying for. We need to preserve the great heritage, that we have in this country. We need people of faith. Every profession, we need people of principle and faith. One of the wonderful things that I found when I came to Washington were all the people of integrity and faith I found here. Not just members, but staff. It's amazing. We've got these little Bible studies, prayer groups going on all over in every agency of government. You don't read about it. The press doesn't understand it, so they don't know anything how to cover it, and people don't know it's happening. But it is happening all over the place. And that gave me hope for the future. And our young people need to know there is a future. We can turn this thing around. Wilberforce and his friends were the seed of reformation and change and restoration in that culture. Look in the scriptures, Nehemiah, Ezra, Haggai, Zechariah. There's the biblical pathway for restoration of a nation. It can be done. We shouldn't give up. Stay engaged. Better days are ahead.